Hey everybody, BeyondDrewTV here. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to a little video here where we're going to kind of take a look over some concept art and kind of blueprints and just design art for zoos in general. And the reason why I want to do this is that the Planet Zoo beta had just ended a day or two ago, and I am still in zoo mode. I even loaded up, excuse me, Planet Coaster, and I immediately jumped into Green Hills Zoo because I just want to keep building zoos. So I've done this. I kind of mentioned it in my Planet Zoo beta series of Thornton Zoo. If you haven't watched that, definitely head back and check that out. Had a lot of fun working my way through the Planet Zoo beta and figuring everything out and getting comfortable with it, only for it to be ripped away from us. But yeah, no, I talked a lot about focusing on realism in that one, and focusing on getting the animal habitats, enclosures, exhibits, whatever, kind of more on the realistic side rather than everything being lavish and well themed and full budget and everything like that. So I kind of figured that today we would kind of run through again some just kind of concept art, design art, blueprints, because I did this in Planet Coaster a heck of a lot, and a lot of Planet Coaster builders that you may watch, content creators, and just people who still play the game. This is kind of what we live off of for the most part, is concept art, and it's pretty much just going on Google Maps, or insert search engine and map program here or whatever, and looking at satellite images or looking at YouTube videos of for Planet Coaster to be theme parks or whatever you're feeling like building that day. And but yeah, no, just again, I thought it'd be kind of fun, kind of interesting to go with everyone here to look at some design art, just in case you've never kind of thought to do this, and look at what real zoos are doing there. And I think that's the best to model after, at least for my build style, is to model after real life there. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump in and look at a few pictures and even a concept art video there. So let's jump into it. Okay, so here we are with our first image here, which is for the Reed Park Zoo. Not sure where that is exactly, but really like this one because it is an overall, image of the entire zoo here. And what it's going to do is, there's a few more images. I hope they're in order. They might not be, but it's going to break down each section of the zoo. But I like this because it's a nice master plan of it, and you can get a real sense of what they were going for, and you can see our main entrance in here and everything. But what I mainly really like about this is that they show your backstage areas, and I think that's a big thing that people are going to have to think about, because we do have to consider that with Planet Zoo, is that your guests are going to complain, oh boy, I saw a maintenance worker going to take a break, wah. So I kind of have a disagreement with implementing something like that into a zoo game, because when you go to a zoo, you do see backstage stuff a lot of the times. You see where the vets work or the keepers work, or you kind of see that stuff, and it's kind of part of a zoo. So personally, I'm kind of disagreeing with Frontier's decision to implement the guests getting upset seeing backstage buildings in this game. I think it would make more sense for a theme park game. I'm on a tangent, but anyways, I like the idea that they show all the backstage work here. This looks like employee parking down here, but it shows that you got to really kind of think about that, right? So here's your backstage buildings there, but let's move on here just a little bit. Oh, I didn't put them in order because I'm really good at planning ahead. But anyways, here's a copy exhibit. And I think this touches on kind of a lot of us were talking about this, content creators that you may watch, especially I know Mass Bandit and John T especially were talking about this, or geekism. But the size of the exhibits or the habitats in Planet Zoo, it's way overdone for the most part. I understand that from a gameplay perspective, they were kind of wanting to harp on the conservation and the animal welfare, and giving your animals the best, absolute best that you can give them and all that fun stuff. But again, it's gonna become a common theme just with this channel and everything, is that excuse me, since we do focus on the realism, that not all zoos can accomplish that, or even I guess would want to, or have the space, or insert reason here as to why they wouldn't be able to do that. And I think this represents really, really nice here. We have a really awesome Okapi exhibit, but you know, it's not really overly big. I would say, I think if this was in Planet Zoo standards, there'd be too much foliage, definitely too much foliage, and it would probably be too small. So I'm definitely, you know, I'm hoping that for sandbox mode that we can just turn off animal welfare and kind of just build what we want there, and you know, get some more stuff like this there. So there you are. Here's a nice little, I like this because it shows using multiple facets of the zoo in one area. And what I mean by that is it looks like we have this what it looks like maybe a hippo, or probably a hippo. We're gonna say hippo. Everyone agree on hippo? It's a hippo. But you have this nice hippo enclosure here, and it looks like, you know, this is its actual enclosure and habitat here, and it looks like this is your backstage area where it would hang out for most of the time. Looks like this is the entrance into like a building that would look out there, right? But the main thing I like is that this whole area is just kind of sanctioned off into its own separate thing. You see that with theme parks as well, relating it back to like Planet Coaster. You see that with theme parks where, you know, you don't just typically see a roller coaster just slapped onto the side of a path and, you know, there's just like an entrance and that's it. You know, it kind of has like its own area, and it might have an entire like land kind of dedicated to it sometimes and stuff like that. And then you kind of see that coming through here as well, where, you know, this whole thing is sanctioned off. It has its own big plaza area here. This is very basic concept art for sure. You can hopefully tell that. But, you know, there'll probably be benches and more lights and whatever, but you can kind of tell right here there's a little restaurant, it looks like. So just kind of incorporating, that's what I meant by incorporating just the different facets of the zoo, you know, getting a restaurant in there, getting a habitat in there, having an eating area, having your backstage, all in this little area right there. So yeah, I really like that that idea there. And here's just something I want. I just want this, where you know, I think we will get stuff like this, but yeah, Stingray Bay. I've been to SeaWorld, Brookfield Zoo, and I think it was Madison Zoo, might have been Milwaukee Zoo, where they had something extremely similar to this, especially SeaWorld. Theirs wasn't SeaWorld Orlando, I should be more specific. Theirs wasn't inside of a building, but it was still the same idea, where if you look inside here, you can kind of see this is a pool. If you haven't done one of these, they're really, really neat. But yeah, there's a really shallow pool where stingrays just kind of swim around. You can just put your hand down and they kind of swim over your hand, and you can feel the slimy grossness of a stingray. But yeah, I really like the sleek design of this. This looks like something we could have built in the beta for Planet Zoo, doesn't it? But yeah, I hope that we get some stingrays and other aquatic animals. I have a pretty strong feeling that we will. But yeah, just really like the idea of this. And again, you know, you see the concept art of, you know, maybe we'll put a tree here, and just, I don't know, I really like how it looks there. So, and we move on. Okay, and here we are finally. It was like 2 pictures removed, but this is that first from that first picture that we watched, kind of breaking down each area, and I really enjoy that because again, it just kind of breaks down the in detail work, you know, what you have to think about for your service areas and stuff. So this is an Asian area of the what was it, Reed Zoo. I have a great memory. But yeah, no, you just kind of see how it's all laid out there. We can see a temple complex and, you know, bats and reptile. Looks like this is all under one big building here. We have an Asian pavilion right here that seats 200, so probably, you know, a theater show, maybe a movie ticket show, I tell you. Come on in. It's the 20s. But yeah, no, just again, really, really like how this all looks there, and again, incorporating in the service road, and kind of showing, you know, here's the aviary building, and it's all kind of connecting back up to this main backstage road there. So we move on, and then you have the Africa area, and you can see this looks a lot like a lot of people's zoos in the Planet Zoo beta almost. I know it's a little bit blurry, but best image I could get of it. But you have big savanna and this says lodge right there. So I'm not sure, maybe that's a hotel. I'm interested to see who does that. My money's on Stan Wolf. He's going to build a hotel in the middle of his savanna or his zoo in general, because that's just what Stan does, right? So, but yeah, really like that. And again, it looks a lot like some stuff that people were building with the savannas and the Africa sections and stuff like that. So love that. And the last area of the zoo is the South American area, and yeah, just again, really like how it looked. You have some water going around the whole area. It'll probably be really lush, and another temple. It seems like the temple is a big thing between the Asian and South American area there. So and you can see where it connects back up to backstage. All these yellow buildings right there, that's all your backstage buildings for the most part. And you can kind of see they're always going off of, you know, this is your backstage, backstage road right there. And they all kind of just follow off that for the most part. So This I actually recreated poorly because but I should say I used it for inspiration for Green Hill Zoo for the lion habitat. If y'all didn't see that, be sure to go check out the lion habitat speed build video. But yeah, I enjoyed this so much that I basically recreated it and kind of used it as my set off point for the entire Wild Africa section. So I got the multi-use habitat. I think that's a really cool idea where you can see here that the lions are like the main focus, but built off of it. I mean, I know there's separation between it, but you know, you have your, looks like savanna, giraffe, hoof stock. Okay, yeah, so antelopes and stuff like that, kind of right connected to there. And this cafe is kind of like a central hub almost for it. You can see the cafe looks out that way and it looks out this way. You even have a meerkat exhibit right there, really small, but you know, they still fit it in. There's another animal. Looks like, yep, down here you have rare rhinos of Africa. So this one pathway right here, and a lot of you were doing some really great job of this. You know, having your one main pathway being surrounded, being just enveloped by animals on every side. Not every zoo is like this, obviously, right? But I really like that idea of being able to look left, right, forward, down, up, and like animal, just envelop them. So, and another very subtle, I know, but just another little thing between the pathway. You see how there's greenery here? I know a lot of people, and I'm very much so guilty of this as well. You know, just building straight up, just putting the path right up against the habitat and everything like that. And you see that. I mean, that's definitely a thing. But I think this idea of separation between the barriers and the path is really nice. And you know, it doesn't feel totally separated between the path and the habitat. You still feel close, but it just gives a little bit of almost green separation between the two. So I don't know how to explain it. There you go. And then this is from the same zoo, and I totally plan on doing something extremely similar for the full release. I started to kind of recreate it a little bit with the pieces that we had. We didn't have nearly enough pieces to do it there, but I started to recreate it in the Grizzly Peak area. But yeah, I love this North American kind of vibe there with that there. So but these concept arts, these are really pretty, but they don't show a lot of what I like more so, which is like showing the backstage. And you know, this is very concept arty, right? But it still looks beautiful, and the general idea is still there, and you can definitely pull a lot of really cool ideas off it, especially if we get sea lions and stuff. We better get sea lions. Please tell me we're getting sea lions. But the Sea Lion Cove and Sea Lion Wharf and stuff like that, I love those ideas. So there we go. And then we have our nice penguin habitat. This is my main takeaway from it. I know, like, out of the entire thing, like, this is my main takeaway, but I've noticed these a lot at zoos that I've gone to, like shade covers. I know it's like extremely simple, but yeah, throwing shade covers, you know, around your habitats, really useful. Another really cool thing that I want to try out, and you can kind of see right here, this will probably be mainly for kids, but you can kind of see this little tunnel right here, and then they pop up right in the middle of the habitat. I've seen that. I haven't seen that in a dry habitat like this, but I've seen this a lot in aquariums where they'll have you pop up in the middle of like a shark like reef or something like that. But really cool idea, and I think we can pull that off pretty easily in Planet Zoo there. So, and again, just kind of touching on, you know, our backstage and stuff. This is all looking amazing, but if you look right here, this is our backstage building where the penguins would kind of hang out a lot more. So there you are. And then here we go. This was awesome. I love that I found this. This is from the St. Louis Zoo, I believe. Yes, it's from the St. Louis Zoo. I don't think it's built yet, but this is a awesome concept art video of their new like living with primates or something like that. But it almost looks like Planet Zoo, doesn't it? It almost looks like it until you realize that the people look a lot different. And I think I'm gonna point something out. Maybe this is why we don't have realistic looking people, because pause. Hello, spacebar, universal pause. No, okay. Where is he? There he is. My dude's creeping. My dude's creeping with these graphics. Can't do the realism. Can't do real people. They creep, man. But anyways, you can kind of get the idea here, and I think there's a million different ideas to pull from here. You know, first and foremost, what I'm looking at, back it up a little bit more. Right there, this start of this like playground set, basically. You have these like Pringles, these multicolored Pringles that people can the kids can walk up, and you're gonna see this expand out and connect through. And I just love the interconnectivity of it. I think they did a brilliant freaking job with how this looks. I hope it turns out half of what it looks like here, though. And then we have a nice entrance there. Reminds me of S. Stanwolf's log entrance that he started to do for his Timberwolf exhibit there. Yeah, no, just coming in and you were just surrounded by, well, what are these? Lemurs. Lemurs. Oh, everyone's favorite, the lemurs. You know, this is glassed in. You can see a little reflection right there. But this idea, all of this, where you're in a glass box. It's like an aquarium almost, except outside. You could call it a zoo. But yeah, no, just this idea of this being completely enveloped and surrounded. And here's another example of this would not fly on Planet Zoo for the animal welfare. I can almost guarantee it. They would yell at you and say, there's way too many plants. It's too much. And that's, again, I'm probably going to play with the animal welfare off because it's way too touchy. But no, I love this. And if it's actually built, I only live like 4.5, 5 hours or something like that, maybe more, from St. Louis. If they actually did build this, I'd love to go visit it because holy cow. It almost reminds me, if you've ever been to a restaurant that has like a model train, like running around the top of it. You know what I'm talking about? You ever been to like one of those restaurants, usually like a diner or something like that, and you look up and there's like a little village built up there and like a model train running around the perimeter and stuff? That's kind of what they have going on here for the lemurs. All these cages right here, trying to get a good shot. All these cages right here, you can see, I think these are openings and closings that the zookeepers can do to kind of manipulate where they go. But yeah, these are all just, they can kind of pop into these little tunnels right here, and I'm betting that's like an indoor viewing area. For the guests, but yeah, the lemurs can kind of just run around and do what they want here. But yeah, no, just love this area there. There you go. Let's kind of see some more. I don't think those are lemurs right there. But anyways, yeah, you can kind of see a really nice view of the whole thing where it kind of comes down here and goes across, comes down here. So it's really cool. It's all contained, obviously, but you know, it's still very free flowing for the whole thing there. So let me back up just real quick. Right there. So you can see how it goes off into this garden, and then there's a building right here. Here's like your main holding building, it looks like, for them. You have these paths that interact with the trees and stuff like that. More shade, right? Remember, I know it's really minuscule, but you know, these shaders, like I was saying, you kind of see these kind of shaders all over the place. So no, love that that fly through there. And yeah, again, if that exists in real life and like the money didn't get pulled from it because it's a public zoo, I would totally go down there and visit that. And this last picture is kind of similar to the Stingray Bay picture, where it makes me hopeful that we get aviation, because I love these bird shows. They're awesome, you know, and you can probably tell like what just happened with this macaw in front of us, where, you know, it probably flew from the stage where the blue handler is there all the way across the crowd to the handler here and stuff like that. And everyone's like, this dude is pumped about it. Look at this dude. He's just like, yes, metal. That was the most AC/DC rock and roll thing I've ever seen in my life. Macaws forever. But yeah, I hope we can get something at least a little bit similar to this. You know, if not, we're gonna still build it, right? We'll just pretend. So and yeah, I think this is about the last picture there. And I just liked how this area looked. But it's kind of neat how you get the Bengal tigers over here. Right next to the elephants. It's kind of neat to just, you know, when you're thinking of an area, and this kind of touches back to what we were talking about with the hippo area, where it's, you know, an area by itself kind of thing. You can see it's not just about the animals, right? I mean, the whole area is themed up to where the animals are from and stuff, but you have these like wind chimes right here. Looks like a well in the middle. And there's probably like some conservation stuff and like educational stuff inside, everything like that. But yeah, just kind of nice to see, you know, it's more than just the habitats there. So, and yeah, no, that wraps it up there. So, but yeah, I decided to do a quick little video, kind of just looking over, you know, what I do in my free time when I'm like thinking about Planet Zoo, and like when I'm about to maybe think about, you know, designing a habitat or a layout to an area and stuff. You know, I'll go on Google. Just type it in, like zoo design concept art, or, you know, zoo concept art, zoo blueprints. Just keyword it, and you know, you'll get stuff like this. There's sites that have hundreds of blueprints and stuff like that. We just sat here for, you know, 2 hours hanging out and looking at different blueprints together. So but yeah, no, let's go and wrap it up there. What do you think of these blueprints? Do they kind of help you out, or are you kind of more so like, I'm just gonna kind of do what I want to do, and, you know, I don't want to base it off of any blueprints or use that for inspiration? Or is it like, yes, I've never even thought of this, Like, that's awesome. Thank you. But anyways, hey, if this is your first time hanging out, don't forget hit the subscribe button there, stay up to date with all the videos, and don't forget hit the like button as well. Helps out the channel, helps out the video. So hey, thanks so much everyone, and until the next video there, y'all have a good one. Thanks.